Well, I think the best way I can characterize how we do business within the Amexem-Moor-Empire, or excuse me, how businesses function within the Amexem-Moor-Empire, uh, fair and equitable, and yet most certainly business friendly. We make it a point that any business operation inside of this jurisdiction, any business organization has to be environmentally friendly, and they have to be fair and equitable under those that do trade for them, work for them. There are processes and protocols here that we are sticklers on. See, within the Amexem-Moor-Empire, when I wrote the Amexem-Moor-Empire Constitution, I made sure that I made particular things the bedrock of how business would be done here. There's a 20% flat tax here. We don't have a whole host of taxes on business inside this jurisdiction. We don't tax the nationals. There is nothing in the Constitution that we exist and function with in terms of international discourse and internal operations. There is nothing that precludes the imposition of a tax, or nothing that's precluding the Imperial Council from legislating a tax. So I can impose one if I have to, or I can go to the Imperial Council and we can legislate specific things if we have to. And I simply don't see the point of doing that. I was working to make sure that we are always frugal, and I think I've got enough precedent set within this jurisdiction now to last, so that any generation subsequent to us will have the accounts and the annals present to see how it's always been done, even in the toughest of times. So I don't see a need really for doing that unless there are extreme conditions that will require it. And we've had some extreme conditions in our first almost 12 years of existence and functionality in this reconstituting and reestablishing of the ancient Moor Empire, now known as the Amexem-Moor-Empire. And as a consequence of this, I feel comfortable and most confident going forward that our parties inside this jurisdiction that do business will know there are particular things that are ensconced, and that those that do legislating and all type of governance, diplomacy and governance in this jurisdiction know that there are precedents set, and the Constitution has already laid out what needs to be done. So the parameters are clearly defined and clearly set. That said, basically, first off, for anyone looking to establish a business inside this jurisdiction would in fact be the Department for the Interior, specifically to archives, because archives has where folks can take a look to see whether or not there are any businesses that have the name that they're looking to use. If the answer to that question is no, then next stop would be to the Imperial-Powered Industry Agency, and then from there they can go on to get that business set up thereupon the business registrar therein, Power and Industry. And from there, they can move to get their required certifications, whether or not it be from Health and Fire Therapy, Infrastructure, Department for the Drain, Travel and Transport, Sea Department, or possibly the Imperial Maritime Agency, depending on what they're doing. Example, you have those that might be looking to move molten sulfur or any other hazmat, and they have to have particular certifications from either Sea Department, depending on what it is, or the Imperial Maritime Agency that will authorize them to do that type of carriage. So any particular charter or charterer looking for coastwise trade with us would have to let us know that they're looking to do hazmat, so they can be guided to the appropriate location to get the proper certifications. So that ICF will look at particular things, and ESA is looking at particular things, so they're all prepared. So in case there happens to be a hazmat spill or some type of environmental issue, we're prepared to deal with the situation because we know exactly what they're carrying. And if we have to hold folks accountable, we're able to do that based upon what they had to go through to get said certifications. So these things are all predicated upon how we exist and function with our processes, protocols, and procedures. So we get a few things ironed out with folks when they first come to us. But at the end of the day, they have 120 ounces of silver annual operating tax in this jurisdiction. We only have 4 tax forms. 2 of them are for standard. One is for standard form, and the other one is for heavy itemization. Yeah, one of the forms is for non-for-profit, and the other one, I forgot it was 4. But we have 4 tax forms. And it's straightforward. It's a 20% flat tax. There's no value-added tax here or any of that other stuff in this jurisdiction. It's simplified, straight down the middle. So that's why I say that, in my view, the Amexem-Moor-Empire is in fact business-friendly. We have a lot of things that we are working on to enhance what folks are doing. We are constantly taking a look at the conditions, all the conditions across the planet for what folks are doing, those who are doing the non-substance thing, for those who do interjurisdictional business with this jurisdiction. So there's a lot of things that folks have to take a look at, and if they have questions, or if you have questions, we can answer them one by one, because establishing a business here is not a hard thing. It's desire and will to manifest the way, and we can work things out. It's all doable. And when folks do things in this jurisdiction, they have to be clear on the fact that whatever they're doing has to be environmentally sound, and they have to, again, be fair and equitable with those that's doing trade, quote unquote, working for them. They keep to those particular things, and they'll be smooth sailing doing business side of the Amexem-Moor-Empire with them. I can tell you that right now. So we hope that folks will do the independent investigation, and if they happen again to have any questions, they should step to us with those questions, and we'll answer them one by one. I look forward to establishing several businesses in this jurisdiction, primarily because, again, the more business that we have that's doing trade here, that's our primary tax base. So it eases the burden on diplomacy and governance for the Amexem-Moor-Empire Imperial Government, because we're well funded from taking care of those who do business in our jurisdiction, and they bring forward their taxes promptly. Basically, every 30 days is when they file their taxes in this jurisdiction, and they have 6 days to get their well, that's the tax period. It's the 30-day tax period, and after that, they have 6 days to get their tax form in, and if they have a tax that has to be paid, they have 6 days to get the tax form and the taxes in. It's basically it. It's a straightforward deal.